Hi, everybody. I hope this works out better than it did last time. This is my story part two. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Denise Mortimer. I am an online entrepreneur. I am a business mentor. I show other people how to create businesses online. I help people remove trauma that stops them from moving ahead in their life. And I was having a messenger conversation with someone earlier today, and I feel inspired to share my backstory with you. Now, what I need you to do is above this video, there should be a link that says something about streaming. If you click on that link, it only comes up in my side thing here where the comments are. It only says Facebook user. So if you could click on that link. Hi, Anna. If you could click on that link, then it will tell me who is in the house. So the first person to say, hi, Denise, I don't know who it is. You have to identify yourself. So if you go to that link, you can click that link. And it says basically, do you give Facebook permission to identify you to me? But Smasher Anna is in the house, and I want to share with you my story. And I feel like tonight I want to tell the story because I was having a conversation with someone who was having a bit of a down moment, and I just want you to know that, the struggle can be real, especially when you're first starting out. So I thought I would come on tonight and tell you how I created my business. So I started my business back in 2016 in the online space. I had a long history being in the NHS, and that's the National Health Service over here in the UK, where you might be watching this on a replay. It's somewhere else in the world. But I started my journey, moved to England in 1985, and I was just like a fresh whippersnapper, like fresh out of college. I did what's called an Associates of Art degree, which I think is equivalent to A levels over here in the UK. And I didn't really know what I was doing with my life, so I came over to the UK. I came for a holiday. I met someone. I got married 8 months later. I had 2 kids in that marriage, and I got divorced 8 years later. And then I went to university to study positive psychology. I did my first degree. I did my first degree when I was after my divorce, and then I did my second degree. I think it's like 12 years ago now that I finished my second degree, which was in positive psychology. So I did my first degree after I got divorced because it seemed like a really important thing to do, because I was a fitness instructor at that point, and I felt like I needed to be in a position where I could bring money in when I needed to bring money in, even if I wasn't like if I needed to be off sick with my kids or something, I could do that. So, and my dad always used to say to me, get a government job. So I did exactly what he said. I went and I got a government job. So I worked for the National Health Service, and then I worked for like local government over here in the UK. And I did that for like 20 something years. Like this was like a career choice that I'd made, because it was the best route available to me, because at the time I was a single mother, and I wanted to make sure that I would always be able to feed and house my children. But I was only a single mother for a few years. I think I was 3.5 years on my own with the kids. And then I met my current husband, but I stayed in my jobs. I stayed in my NHS and local government jobs because they were really safe jobs. Drop your names. Let me know who's in the house. Just say hi so I know who's actually here. So earlier today I was having a conversation with someone who was feeling, they launched something and it didn't work. And I want to just share with you, I felt compelled to share with you about my journey, because I want you to know that not everything works. And that's okay. And without everything, because things don't work is not a reason to give up. If you're feeling compelled. Hi, I'm not sure who's here. So go to the link above this and tell me. You can click on the link and it gives Facebook permission to tell me who you are. Otherwise, just write your name so I can see who's here. So I'm glad that you're here, and I'm just sharing a little bit about my journey in entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship came to me very late in life. Not that late. Okay, so I was 51 years old when I became an entrepreneur. And many of you who've followed me or have purchased anything from me over the years, I share my story very liberally about how I created my business with my daughter saying to me, why don't you take your business online? And I was like, how do I do that? And so she showed me how to take it online. Prior to that, I had a couple of false starts. Like I knew I wanted to be self-employed, but I had a couple of false starts. So I was, I guess for want of a better word, I was headhunted by this company who wanted me to come and work with them, and we were going to do some corporate contracts, and they were going to teach me everything about getting corporate contracts. And the agreement was that for all the money I made, like 20% would be paid to them, but they would like supply me with resources. What they didn't supply me with was leads, and I didn't really know how to get leads, so I was floundering a little bit with this company, and I ended up making a good few £1,000s. But I felt very resentful that I was paying them 20% of it when I felt like they hadn't been doing what I'd been promised to enable me to. I thought the group support was really going to help me, but it wasn't for me. So with a heavy heart, I took the decision that I was leaving that. And this was kind of a, hi, Tracy. With a heavy heart, I took the decision that I was going to leave this company. So it was a small training and development company, and I'd invested £1,000 in them. I'm going back maybe like 10 years to buy into the company, and I really liked what they were about, but I didn't feel like I was getting the support that I needed to enable me to fly. And all of the leads that I got, I had generated them myself. And then, of course, I had to pay them 20% of whatever I was bringing in. So it just didn't feel good to me. So I left them. And then I went back working in the NHS consulting for a number of years. And that was very good because I started to learn that I could create my own working hours. Like when you go in on a consulting basis, you can basically pick and choose. You need to say, so whoever's just said hello again, you need to tell me who you are, or you can go to the link above this and let me know that you're in the house. It will say that you give permission for Facebook to identify you, because otherwise it just has Facebook user there. So I left that company. I went into consulting. Consulting was really good, very, very good money. At one point I was working for public health, and I'm going back a few years, and you know, the day rate for that was £450. That was a lot of money. Like I was making a lot of money. It was more money than I'd ever made in my life, and that went on for a while. And it was, you know, it was wonderful to be like, you know, my paycheck that month would be like, hey, let's buy new windows for the house. You know, I'd never been like in my NHS, in my jobs, in my proper employed jobs, I'd made, the maximum I'd made was like £63,000. So this was like, I was like in the hundred thousands now with this, you know, £450 a day. And that was really great, but it wasn't fueling my soul. And it was in 2016 that my daughter said to me, you know, why don't you take your business online? And really the rest is history. But what I really want to share with you, the most important things I want to share with you tonight is that not everything worked out easily and effortlessly, because I know that sometimes if you see someone who's doing really well, and I do believe I'm doing really well, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm really, really far off the start line now. Like I can't even see the starting line anymore. It's, you know, it's really, really far back. But what I want to share with you is like not everything works. So it was I think it was 2016 that I hired my first mentor. And this was like an investment of £1,000, and it was a 12-week program. And at that time, I was unaccustomed to spending that kind of money on myself. I'd been treated to training courses as part of my NHS and my local government, but to spend that money on myself was a big, big, big deal. So I spent $1,000 money. Hi, Aleem. I spent £1,000 on myself to invest in this mentor. And you know, I did the work. Every week we had a module release and I did the work. And one of the things that I was told as part of this mentorship program was get on 100 calls. Get on 100 calls, go for 100 no's. That was one of the most valuable pieces of advice that I ever got, because when someone tells me to do something, I just go out there and I'm just like on a mission. So I went out there with the intention of, I'm going to get on 100 calls. And now, just to set the scene, if you follow me on social media, you know that, you know, I have a big personality, I have a big presence, and that's just been natural to me. I didn't need to cultivate that. I didn't need to go to any sort of academy to learn how to be visible on Facebook. It's just who I am. I'm just really, you know, I was voted most congenial in my high school year. You know, people tend to like me. And if you don't, I just go like, so I already had a presence on social media. I was already a big personality. I'd put funny things out there. I'd share insights into my life. So now shifting into the business thing it was hard, but it wasn't as hard as it is for some other people. Maybe haven't got that presence, that online presence that, you know, you've heard the term know, like, and trust, maybe haven't got that know, like, and trust factor. So for me, it was pretty easy to start moving off. So I set about getting on these 100 calls. And this mentor had also said to me as well, go for premium clients and just sell premium products. But what I didn't know was how to sell a premium product. And in fact, I was like, what the hell is even a premium product? And like the thought of it made me feel sick, because I just thought, this doesn't feel right to me. Like, I think I had my own self-worth issues, and it just felt really icky trying to sell high. And I didn't even understand how to have the sales call either. I didn't understand that there was a process to take people through. And in fact, now my sales calls they're so different, because they're just like talking to friends. Like, by the time you get on a phone with me to talk about working with me, it's almost a done deal, because I tend to get on the phone with people who are really good fit. But at the time, I didn't know how to have a sales call. I didn't know how to sell a premium package. And I got on these 100 calls. I got on 88 calls. I was keeping records. I was keeping them in a notebook. Spoke to this person, spoke to this person. I was giving hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of my time, and assessing the data and finding out what the commonalities were. I was trying to ask consistent questions for each person I was getting on a call with. It wasn't a sales call. It was really just finding out information. But as any of you know, if you get on a call to find out information, if you have a good offer for that person, it's actually your duty to make an offer to them. But like, it wasn't working for me. Like, nobody was interested in buying anything. Anything that I did quote was like, it was too expensive. And what I know now that I didn't know then is, like, when someone's saying it's too expensive, they're like feeding off of my energy, because now I can say things. I can say easily 4-figure things, and people just go, yeah, I'm in, no problem. So it is all an energetic match thing. It is all about the energy that you're projecting, the vibration that you are emitting, because people will feel that all the time. So I got on these 100 calls, and I didn't make a sale. I did not make one sale, and I was very disheartened. I want you to remember this when you are a newcomer and you're out there and you're speaking to shed loads of people and no one seems to be buying. Know that I did this 100 call thing, but I did it with 88 calls, and I didn't get one sale. And it was at a moment of pure frustration, because what I really wanted to do was work with people. I really wanted to help people to change their life. I'd studied neurolinguistic programming, positive psychology. By this time, I was doing some public speaking. Whenever I could in my work environment, I would offer a workshop, like run a free workshop. I would do some coaching with people whenever I could. So it was in my DNA to be sharing and helping people to overcome the limitations they have. But I was, and so the next thing I did, and I've never told anyone this part of it, I didn't know how I was ever going to make money from coaching. So what I did was I invested in a property training, because I thought, okay, maybe if I go down the property route and start investing in property and I can make loads of money from property, I can then just do coaching for free, because it seems like nobody can afford coaching. So this was my thinking. So I invested, I think it was £1,500, because I shared the cost with this girl. We got to do it together. So it was £1,500. And I started learning about property. But something happened on that property course, because the property course is almost like network marketing, in that, you know, they start with everything is around mindset. So they were recommending books that were about mindset. And what happened was, instead of going down the route of investing in property, it reconnected me with what I really love, because I was reading all these really cool books, and I'm like, I don't want to do property. This is what I want to do. You know, I want to be out there helping people. So guys, I just want you to know, I want to say hi to everyone coming on board, but I'm using StreamYard tonight. And if you can go to click the link above this, and there'll be a link there asking you to say it's okay for your name to appear here. So I can't, because whoever just said hi, Denise, it just says Facebook user to me. So you can go up there and let me know that you're in the house. So so is this interesting, an interesting story to hear? Because I just wanted to share with you like my thinking, my thought patterns that were making, you know, helping me to grow my business or not grow my business. So I had my false start with that company. I went back into consulting, started my own business, got on those 100 calls. But in the meantime, I'd done this thing with the property as well. Actually, I think the property happened before the 100 call thing. I think the property thing happened before that. I'd have to check my timeline, but I'm pretty sure it happened before that, because it was the property. It was the studying that they wanted us to do for the property that really connected me with my sense of purpose. So I'm pretty sure it was 2016 that we did the property course. So after those 88 calls, and after like more no's than, you know, a person should be able to withstand, I then, in pure frustration, created my 21 Days to Happier Ways. At the time, I had been doing something called the Fearless Speaking Academy. There was a chap on the scene named Warren, and I sort of was following what he was doing, and I did this public speaking academy, and I was inspired by something that he did, which was a 21-day challenge. And I thought, I'm going to create a 21-day program as well. I'm going to do something really low cost, and I'm going to make it a no-brainer for people, like £21. And of course, as a newcomer, I was like, is anyone even going to spend money with me? I was so used to getting a wage, used to being paid for, you know, my time from an employer. And suddenly it was like inviting people to pay me for my knowledge. And it was like, are they actually going to pay? I don't know. So I created 21 Days to Happier Ways. I sold it out. By this time I was working with another mentor. So I was getting a taste for investing in mentors. So just to give you an idea of my level of investment, this mentor was £3,600 for 6 months, which is a bargain these days. But a few years ago, to me, that was like a huge sum of money to spend on a mentor. Was part of FSA in the past. Yes. Yeah. So for me, investing that £3,600 was huge. I think I put it on a credit card, and I was almost just like, okay, well, if the worst thing that could happen is that I'll have to go back to a job. I'll have to pay this back, and it'll take because I was still employed. I stayed employed for 18 months after I started my business, because even though I started bringing money in, I was getting, you get that, like, okay, what is this, a one-trick pony? Was this just a fluke? Is anyone ever going to pay me again? and you know, you've got, and this is what they mean about new level, new devil, because once you break that seal and people start paying you, there's a whole load of questions that come up. It's like, well, how do I do this again? How do I do it better next time? How do I get fresh people? Have I exhausted my audience? Maybe nobody will come back to me again. So these are the kind of things that were going on in my head. So I sold 50 places on the first course. So that works out like just over £1,000. I did it through PayPal. And so they obviously take their cut of it. So it was just under £1,000. And I'm like, cool, this is great. Then I did it again. And the second time I did it, I had a real stroke of luck and was invited. And that's a whole nother story in itself. But I was invited into this woman's group to do a Facebook Live and tell them about my 21-pound product. And it turns out there were 1,500 women in this group. And I think 130 of them watched me live. That's more people than have ever watched me live before. Having 130 people like giving you hearts and love, that was like such a cool experience. I will never forget that Facebook Live, because it was that profound for me. It was that like, wow, this is so cool with all these people. And it was a network marketing company, a makeup company called Unique. And 150 people bought my course after seeing that live in there. And I had this surreal experience of being on a plane with my husband the day after I did that live. You know, and I dropped them the details saying, hey, if you want to sign up for the course, sign up here. And my husband and I were going to Gran Canaria. And when I got off the plane at the other end, the first thing I always do is like put my data on my phone. And I put my data on my phone like I normally do. And suddenly my phone was going ping, 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 because all these sales were coming through for my 21-day course. And I was just like, oh my God, OMG, this is so cool. This is what I was waiting for, that moment when like I'm making money and I'm on vacation. But I hadn't quite cracked, you know, it was not going to be a passive source of income or even semi-passive, because I needed to be involved in it. I still needed to be involved in it. But the thing was, I was making progress. And more than that, the 50 people who'd done it before, and then the 150 people on now, or at that time, the second time, the ones who were really loving it were telling other people about it. So other people were getting excited, and there was like such a buzz around me because of my course, because I was really energized about the course. Like whatever you do, you have to do it with energy. You have to do it with your absolute passion and energy. If you haven't got that passion and energy for it, you either need to A, ask yourself if you're going in the right direction, or B, just give yourself a rest until you can, you know, restore your energy and go back again and do the thing that you want to do. So I was getting this kind of fan base of people. And there was even my mentor said to me, so there's such a buzz around you at the moment. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's amazing. And it's like when your energy's in the right place, everything happens so easily. So the first launch, I didn't even know that there was such thing as a launch. You know, I wasn't sort of launching. I was just like, I'm going to sell these places on this course. I didn't know there was a formal process I could have gone through. So I sold my 50, then I sold 150. Then after that, people wanted to work with me like I created another level. And it was clear that there were certain people, not everybody, who need another level. And this is what's called your sales funnel. And again, I didn't know it was called the sales funnel. It just was what would happen. So I had, you know, this big pool of people up here, excuse me. I had this big pool of people up here who were in my 21-day program. And then I started to funnel people. I didn't know I was funneling them, but I started funneling people into the mid-range. And my first mid-range was a 500-pound offer. And that seemed like a really lot of money at the moment. At that time, it was a really lot of money. And most of the people were paying in installments because my money mindset was saying like, people, oh my God, who's got 500 pounds to pay? So people were paying in installments over a ridiculously long period of time. but they were buying. And to me, that was the most important thing. It was like validation of my ideas. And, you know, for me, it signaled that I'm heading in the right direction. So for most of 2017, the rest of 2017, I played with the mid-range offer. Like I did some collaborations with somebody else, and like we shared the profits on that. So some of those offers were like £200 per person, some were £500 per person, but we were just playing with those over the course of the year. Sometimes I was solo, sometimes I was with this other person. And I was also getting some one-to-one clients as well, probably less one-to-ones than anything else, but they were still coming in. And I think at that time I was charging £1,000 for 3 months, which is like just the biggest dead giveaway now. It's like such a no-brainer offer. But at the time it was massive. It was absolutely massive for me. And lots of other things were happening as well. Like, you know, I wanted to speak on more stages, and nobody was asking me to speak on stage. And I was like, why don't people want me to speak on their stage? Why is no one asking me? And so that was when I but I discovered something called Funzing, and they still exist to this day. And they create all these amazing experiences for people to have. You know, you could do like, you know, yoga with your dog or something like that. You know, they do all these really cool things, and they were putting on these talks. And so I contacted them because I'm like, if no one's going to give me a place on stage, I'm going to go and find my own stage. So I did that. Oh, and I forgot to tell you as well that somewhere between this, I think maybe it was before I did my £21, I went to Groupon as well. I went to Groupon because I had I'd purchased Shah Wasman's course, and Shah spoke about Groupon. So I went to Groupon as well, and I thought I'm going to do some live events, and I'm going to promote them through Groupon, and I'm going to turn these people into clients. And I did, actually. I did. Hardly anyone came, but they all became clients. They all bought something from me at some point. So I did the Groupon thing as well. And this is another avenue that people can be looking at, is like, go to Groupon, go to Wowcher, go to, there's a few things like that where you can sell your services, like sell Reiki healing there, or sell your digital product. You could sell something to them. You probably have to jump through a few hoops because they're very specific about how they want things done. But as long as you play by their rules, you can use their platform. So Groupon was something I did for a little while. Then I also had started a meetup. Because I was like casting a lot of nets out there. And I talk to my clients all the time now about like throwing spaghetti at the wall. And I don't mean like recklessly throwing spaghetti. It's like intentionally throwing spaghetti. It's like, I'm going to try Groupon. I'm going to see if that works. I'm going to try Meetup. I'm going to see if that works. I want to get on stages. I want to serve people. I want to do things. So this is all like my early stage stuff. And the beautiful thing about Funzing was that they were finding me a venue. They were doing the marketing for me. They were filling the room. I was getting 30, 40 people in a room, and then they were paying me, and I was pitching while I was doing my talk as well, or out, you know, at the end of my talk. So this was like so cool. And then suddenly me, who was not getting opportunities to speak on stage, the people out there were coming to me, the people who I was like thinking, how are they getting speaking gigs? How are they getting speaking gigs? They started coming to me saying, how did you get that gig? And I'm like, oh, now I'm doing something really cool that people want to be part of. And then over the next probably 2 years, I started seeing all these other people popping up on Funzing. It's like they discovered this as well. But I can say with my hand on my heart that I believe I was one of the pioneers. They had loads of talks going on, but they were like, you know, Jack the Ripper talks, and you know, Inside the Mind of a Psychopath kind of talks, or you know, a psychedelic drug talks or something like that. So I was the first one in my kind of circle who went in there, because I was like, look, if no one's giving me a platform, if no one is offering me the opportunity, I'm going to go and create my opportunity. And I did. And some of my best clients came from there. Like, I can think of a few people who still follow me to this day. They've bought numerous things from me, because here's another little secret. When someone buys something from you, as long as you are continuing to give quality and you're continuing to evolve and grow, they're going to continue to spend money with you. So even if they're spending £21 with you, the chances are that will grow into something else as well. So this is where a lot of people get it, judge a low-cost offer as being a not good offer, because you can give really good value and you get to showcase yourself, and that person is already psychologically invested. They've you know, physically invested money in you, but psychologically they have a you know, an interest in you, and they're very likely to buy more products from you. And probably making this figure up, but it occurs to me that maybe a quarter of people who've ever been through one of my programs, I've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. That first year for my 21-pound course, I had over 400 people go through my 21-day program. I guess if I was to count them now, because I haven't run it in a while, I've probably had 1,000 people through that 21-day program. And sometimes I've given it away as like a free gift. If I've spoken at an event, I'll give it to someone as a free gift. Or I did something last year. I did it just for fun, because if you can't have fun in your business, then you shouldn't be doing it. I did it for fun. I sold it for £1. And I just said to people, I planted the idea in people's heads. I said, why don't you just buy this for a friend of yours? So people were buying 20 places for friends. And, you know, it's a damn good course. It's a really good course. But people were able to like buy it and give it as a gift to friends, saying, look, I bought this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, a place. I wasn't getting rich from this. I think I made £260 from that. But I'd also built my list and built my goodwill, built my audience, you know, so it had a benefit there. But the true intention of that was just really, let's just have fun. Let's just sell this for £1. And 260 people came on board for that. Last year, I did some training for some NHS nurses, and I gave it to them for free. I think I built my list by 200 people there by giving it to them for free. They're not necessarily ideal clients, because I tend to work with entrepreneurs. So it was no skin off my back to give them this. Like, now it's a fully automated course. So it is like hands-free. It's just, I just needed to enter their emails into something, and I just sent them a link and they entered their email, and then they started on that. So, so the 21 pound was the big sort of entry point for me and turning point. Then in late 2017, I decided, it was November 2017, I decided that I was going to make £100,000 in 2018. And I decided by hook or by crook, I was going to make this £100,000. By this point, I'd working with another mentor. I spent $10,000. I spent $10,000. I put it on a credit card. Again, I just like took a sharp intake of breath, and I thought, okay, worst ways, I just owe £10,000 on a credit card forever. Because I'd never spent that amount of money before. Guys, if you're enjoying this, drop me a message and let me know if you're interested in hearing the rest of the story, because I'm going to share just a little bit more. But do drop me a message and let me know if you're finding this of value. So yes, so I invested $10,000. It was a year-long mentorship program. I think there were about 12 other women in the program with me. And this was the first time I stepped up to a whole new level, because I was just like, I can't do 21 pounds anymore. I cannot do 21 pound offers. Let me know if you're in the house. Let me know if you are still watching and if you are enjoying this. So by investing the $10,000, I was like, I can't keep doing 21 pound offers. It's time to step up to a new level. By this time, you can see I've invested in one mentorship program. Who's yes, I am? Who's just said yes, I am? Just drop me your name. Let me know who's listening in. I'd invested, so by this point, 10,000 is like 8,000. I invested like 12,000 pound in my development. And this 10,000 pound was like so scary. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. You got to go to that scary place. You have to go to that scary place to stretch yourself. But you have to be prepared. Like, you cannot go to that scary place and hold that mentor responsible for your outcome. You cannot go to that scary place and think, oh, hi, Stephanie. Hi. You cannot go to that scary place of investment and think things are going to happen just like it. They can just happen like that because you like energetically upgrade yourself when you say yes to something that is like, like, for example, I've just invested a very significant sum in a 4-month mastermind. And when we spoke about my prices, and she said, you know, how does it feel? How does it feel to double your price? And she said, I said, I don't know. She said, where do you feel it? And I said, I feel it in my face. It's like my face feels on fire, like saying that price. But I knew that I needed to up level as well. And I knew that by making that investment in her, I was setting an intention and making a statement to the universe that this is where I wanted to go, that this was the next level of me. And there is no crime to stay at a particular level. There's no crime in staying, you know, if you're earning a few quid and it's a side hustle and that's all you want to do. But I was hungry for more. And I have always believed that I have a huge purpose and impact to make on this planet. And I wasn't going to do that just selling the 21-pound offers anymore. And so November 2017, I decreed I was making 100,000 pound in 2018. And I launched a 3,000 pound program. It was 6 months. It was 3,000 pound group program. I wanted 6 people to, no, I wanted 10 people. I'm sorry. I wanted 10 people to start with me. The way I'd figured out my year was that if 30 people signed up to my program over the course of a year, then I could, that would be 90,000 pound. And then the other 10,000 would come from somewhere else, like either upsells or downsells. So I knew it was possible. So I launched this course. It was supposed to go live in January. I think I only had 2 people. And this is a really important point I want to share with you. In December of that year, somebody said to me, I'm in for that. I'm totally in for that. I'm totally on board for that. I am totally buying that course. Reserve me a place. I'm totally, totally on board for that. And that gave me the courage and the confidence to move forward with the course. Because I'm like, somebody's on, somebody's bought. Now I got to make it real. Somebody's bought. This is what I want you to know. That person ended up not coming on the course. But here's why that was important. Without that person telling me that they were coming on the course and promising that they were coming on the course, and I hold nothing bad about this person not joining the course, but that person not coming on the course, that person saying they were coming on the course, gave me the confidence to drive forward and go, I'm doing this. I'm absolutely doing this. I'm making this happen. So I'm so grateful, even though she didn't come on the course, that she gave me the confidence to believe that I could sell 6 spaces and make this course viable. So I was launching the course in January. By the time January got here, I think I'd sold 3 places, and I wanted to sell 10. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so far off my target. I'm going to delay again. Oh, Barbara, thank you so much. Thank you. When it was getting towards the end of January, I was like, okay, I've got my 3 people here. And my mentor had said to me, 3 is the beginning of a course. 3 is a course. 3 makes a course, run it with 3 people. And I was like, and again, I didn't know any formal launch strategies. I didn't even know there was such thing as a launch strategy. I was just like telling people about it furiously and hoping they were going to sign up. So I had my 3 people and I said, I'm going to delay this till the start of February. And I think it was February 5th. That comes to mind for some reason, that I started it. February 5th, 2018. I started that course and I had 6 people on board. 6 people who were paying me £3,000 each. So not money in the bank, but in sales, I had £18,000 in sales. That was more money than I'd ever made in my corporate job, my NHS jobs, any of my jobs I've ever had. That was more money than I'd ever made. Again, it wasn't money in the bank. It was commitment from sales that were going to be happening. But here's the thing, when you get installments, installments are a really nice thing because they give you like regular income, which is fabulous. That's the benefit of like a membership. So all of these people who were on the 6-month program with me were paying me £500 a month. And that's really nice, right? So when you get 10 of those going on, that becomes a nice chunk of money. So I had my first 6 people. I was a little bit disappointed, if I'm honest, because I wanted 10. But then I just got I was like, every month, I just need to bring some more people in because it was a rolling program. It wasn't just like, it wasn't a start date and a finish date. And it was 6 months long and people could join anytime they wanted to. So I got my 6. I can't remember how many joined after that. Like, I can't remember in between there. But then in July 2018, I think it was the 7th of July. So like, what is that? 5 months after I launched, I ran a live event and I had 30 people in the room. That's 30. Each one of those is multiplied by 10. I had 30 people in the room and 10 of them bought my £3,000 course. Again, most of them were in installments, and I'd been coached about how to run an event, how to make the sales from an event. And again, some of the best advice I ever got was the fortune is in the follow-up. And this is so important because on the day of that event, one person bought from me. One person gave me a £250 deposit to work with me in December. She wasn't even, this was July. She wasn't even going to work with me till December. One person gave me a £250 deposit. I came away from that event thinking, oh my God, I've invested. I think I'd spent £2,500 putting that event on, getting a photographer in, getting a beautiful venue, like everything, and everyone got photos done. I paid for the photographer to take beautiful photos of everyone. But here's where the fortune's in the follow-up. The week after the event, I followed up with people and 10 people ended up buying my £3,000 product. So I made £30,000 from that one day event. But I had to follow up with people to get those sales in. There were people who'd been in the room with me. And then I know that I had 2 other clients who came to me from a webinar. In fact, I had a webinar that 4 people came to. 4 people came to this webinar. 2 of them bought. So that webinar ended up making me, and a webinar is pretty much free. You pay for, you pay for the software. So this is the value of having the right person in the room, on the webinar, on the call. This is the value of having the right person. I made £7,000 from that webinar because one person wanted to work one-to-one with me and one bought a place on my course. So 4 people on the webinar, 50% conversion rate, £7,000. Who'd like to make £7,000 from a webinar? Even today, I'd be really happy to make £7,000 from a webinar. So I made my £100,000. I actually made my £100,000 in a 6-month frame of time during that month. I finished that year at £115,000. And then it just went from there, grew up and up and up and up. towards the end of last year, towards the end of 2019, I had been falling out of love with my business. I'd had a lot of clients that were not the right clients. I'd launched a few products that were, they weren't aligned. And the results I had of launching programs that weren't aligned was that people were dropping off, people were defaulting on payments, horrible things were happening. And whilst my business bestie was like, those people, how dare they? I didn't feel like that at all. What I felt like is that these people are a reflection of my consciousness, and that is why this is happening to me. That's why they're defaulting on payments. There's something in me I need to clear. And so it was at that point that I discovered rapid transformation therapy. And those of you watching now know that I freaking love rapid transformation therapy because it helped me clear some of those massive blocks, and it up-leveled me massively, more than anything else that I've done. The rapid transformation just completely changed me. And then the story from there is just that, it's just gone from strength to strength. My business has gone from strength to strength. I have had, I think, more. I'm just trying to think. I'm pretty sure I've had more one-to-one clients than I've ever had in my entire life now. Because people people refer to me all the time. People are always referring people to me. People are getting phenomenal results. And I have a number of products now. So this is what my business looks like right now. You've got very exclusive VIP connection with me. I've got my mastermind. I've got a couple of my mastermindees here paying attention tonight on this call. And then I have a number of products. I have a whole course you can buy on how to set up your business. I've got rapid transformation 45-pound products that are life-changing for people. So I have something at such a low level that it's a no-brainer. And then I've got mid-level things like 300-pound. I've got this other course. It's 349-pound. It's like everything you need to set your business up. It's completely hands-off. And then you've got my mastermind, and then you've got my one-to-one. And so these are the various ways and income streams that I have now. And I think my next thing is to make sure that everything that I do is sustainable, which is why I put in these 45-pound products, because they end up being paid lead magnets. They're paid lead magnets. And this is what I'm teaching. I've got a cohort of students right now. Again, there are some things I do just for fun, and I'm doing this thing called the Teeny Tiny Offer Bootcamp, doing it just for fun. It's, it was 300 pounds to join, no-brainer offer. And I haven't even prepared any content for it because I can just talk them through how to create their offer and how to get it out there. I don't need to prepare anything because I know the content so well now. And so I've got a handful of people, 6 people in there, a handful. So people there, one extra finger, handful of people in there. And I'm doing that for the love of it, to give people an opportunity to really step up into their teeny tiny offer, because my teeny tiny offer changed my business. So I've been talking for a really, really long time now, 48 minutes to be exact. And I just wanted to share with you some of my journey. Things don't always work. I've had some really hideous failures. Sometimes I fail daily. I'll put something out and people don't respond to it. Sometimes I'm pushing too hard for something. Sometimes I put my prices up and it's like, I'm terrified of putting my prices up. Sometimes I drop my prices, not so much anymore, but I used to drop my prices in fear that people wouldn't buy from me. I used to worry that it was always a fluke, that there was never going to be the next person who was ever going to buy anything from me. And I just want you to know that your journey, you're going to continue to grow and learn and evolve, and you're going to have these fears, and you're going to have you're going to reveal a new level all the time. You're never going to get to a nirvana where you're like, I'm here, I've made it, and there are no problems anymore. You're always going to have a problem. You're always going to have, and think of it this way as well. What's the next level of problem that I want to have? What's the next level of problem? Because that's going to give you an idea of where you're going. So I hope that you've had some insights into what it takes to get to a six-figure income. And I'm not where I want to be, but I'm working towards it. And I'm so grateful for all the people in my world, for all the clients who've come to me, for all the learnings I've had, for all the mistakes that I've made, because the mistakes give me the biggest learnings of all. And I can say with my hand on my heart, totally from a place of integrity, I have some of the most incredible people on my mastermind at the moment. I have just attracted some beautiful people. My one-to-one high-level clients they're game changers. They're absolute game changers. They're people who I hold in such high esteem, and they've come to me for rapid transformation stuff, and I'm so grateful for that. And everyone who's ever bought anything from me, I'm so grateful for people investing their belief, because by investing money in me, it's saying, I believe in what you've got. And my intention is always to give people the most value I can give them, and enable them to make the transformations that they want. So that's me. That's my story. This is the longest I've ever gone on sharing about this story. I hope that you have found some value. And if you want to speak to me about anything, do reach out, and I'm happy to talk to you about my mastermind, which is going to be coming around again in November, and about working one-to-one or my lower cost offers or anything else. But I'm going to say goodnight to you now, and thank you so much for being here with me. Bye, everybody.